The Courage to Love, written by Elham Ghoreishi. Mia and Jess, two young climbers, found themselves in a harrowing situation in the vast, snowy mountains. Their expedition had taken an unexpected and tragic turn. An accident had claimed the lives of the other members of their team, leaving them alone and vulnerable in the unforgiving wilderness. The mountains, usually a symbol of majestic beauty and adventure, now seemed like an immense, white prison. The snow, which had earlier glistened under the sun, now felt like a cold, unyielding blanket that threatened to smother their hopes. With food supplies dwindling and the harsh reality of their situation setting in, despair began to creep into their hearts. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows over the icy landscape, Jess knew they had to act fast to survive the night. The temperature was dropping rapidly, and the cold was an unrelenting force. In a desperate bid for warmth, Jess started to gather what little dry wood they could find, her fingers numb and her movements sluggish from the cold. Mia, meanwhile, found a small cave, little more than a rocky overhang, but it was a haven compared to the exposed mountainside. She cleared the snow from the entrance, her breath forming icy clouds in the air, and prepared it as best as she could for them to take shelter. Jess, with trembling hands, finally managed to spark a fire. The small flames flickered and danced, casting a warm, if feeble, light against the darkening sky. They huddled close to the fire, trying to soak in its meager heat, their faces illuminated by its glow. Their conversation was sparse, their minds occupied by thoughts of their lost teammates and the uncertainty of their own fate. They spoke of their families, their dreams, and the adventures they had planned. In those moments, they found a semblance of comfort in each other's presence, a shared resilience against the overwhelming odds. As the night enveloped the mountains, they gazed up at the star-filled sky, a vast canvas of twinkling lights that seemed both incredibly distant and intimately close. They clung to the hope that the next day would bring a rescue helicopter, that their ordeal would soon be over. But as they nestled into the cave, against the biting cold, they knew that hope was a fragile thing in the vastness of the mountains. And there, under the watchful eye of the stars, Mia and Jess waited, two souls bound together by circumstance and the will to survive, in the heart of the snowy mountains. In the stillness of the mountain night, with only the crackling of the fire breaking the silence, Jess turned to Mia, her eyes reflecting the flickering flames. "Why did you come to this place?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper, as if afraid to disturb the solemnity of the moment. Mia gazed into the fire, watching the flames dance and leap. "I've never found truth in the ordinary life that others lead," she began, her voice tinged with a mix of reflection and sadness. "I wanted to give meaning to my existence. I thought that by facing fear, by challenging the limits of my endurance, I could understand what it truly means to live." She paused, looking up at the star-studded sky. "This fire, here in the midst of such desolation, has shown me the value of life. Now, more than ever, I wish to live longer. It seems that only on the edge of losing everything do we truly understand the value of our lives." After a moment of contemplative silence, Mia turned the question to Jess. "And you, why did you embark on this journey?" Jess's expression hardened, a mix of resolve and vulnerability playing across her features. "I've always been the son of Yazdeli," she said, her voice steady but laced with an undercurrent of pain. "I've always shied away from problems, always been the target of others' ridicule and humiliation. I came on this trip to prove my courage to myself, to shake off the shadows of doubt and belittlement that have haunted me for so long." Their confessions hung in the air, raw and honest, as the fire crackled between them. In that moment, they were more than just survivors of a tragic accident. They were two souls, stripped of pretenses, sharing their deepest truths under the vast, indifferent canopy of the night sky. The mountains around them stood as silent witnesses to their revelations, and for a while, nothing else mattered but the warmth of the fire and the comfort of shared understanding. 3 months had passed since the harrowing ordeal on the snowy mountains, a time that had both tested and transformed Mia and Jess. Miraculously, they had been rescued, but not without enduring lasting consequences. Mia had lost 4 fingers on her right hand due to severe frostbite, a stark reminder of their brush with death. Jess, on the other hand, had just been discharged from the hospital, her recovery a testament to her resilience. Now, they found themselves in a setting far removed from the cold, unforgiving mountains. They were seated next to a beautiful fireplace in a luxurious restaurant, nestled in the heart of a bustling city. The warmth of the fire was a stark contrast to the icy cold they had endured, and the opulent surroundings seemed almost surreal compared to the stark, survivalist cave they had sheltered in. The atmosphere in the restaurant was lively, with the hum of conversation and the clinking of glasses, yet for Mia and Jess, it felt as if they were in a world of their own. The cold, frightful night on the mountain had forged a bond between them, an unspoken understanding that transcended words. Jess gazed at Mia with a look of deep affection, her eyes conveying a mix of admiration, gratitude, and something more profound. Despite the loss and trauma, there was an undeniable strength in Mia, a resilience that Jess found both inspiring and captivating. Mia, however, seemed slightly uneasy under Jess's loving stare. She was self-conscious about her injury and was still grappling with the physical and emotional scars of their experience. She would occasionally divert her gaze, not out of disinterest, but from a lingering vulnerability and the struggle to adapt to her new reality. The fire crackled in the fireplace, casting a warm, soothing glow over them. The flickering flames seemed to echo the tumultuous journey they had endured together, a journey of survival, discovery, and an unexpected companionship born from the most unlikely circumstances. In that luxurious restaurant, amidst the buzz of city life, Mia and Jess sat together, united by their shared experience, yet each on their own path of healing and self-discovery. Their story, marked by tragedy and triumph, was just beginning to unfold. In the weeks that followed their rescue from the mountains, Jess and Mia found themselves drawn into a series of meetings, each encounter weaving a more complex tapestry of their evolving relationship. For Jess, the feelings that had sparked in the cold isolation of the mountains began to grow with each passing day, turning into something deep and undeniable. She found herself increasingly captivated by Mia, drawn not just by the bond they had forged in survival, but by Mia's strength, resilience, and enigmatic presence. However, understanding Mia's feelings was like trying to decipher a complex, elusive puzzle. Mia was not one to wear her emotions on her sleeve. She was introspective, often guarded, making it difficult to read her thoughts or gauge her feelings. Her responses were measured, her conversations thoughtful yet reserved, leaving Jess in a state of uncertainty about where she stood in Mia's heart. Mia's stoic demeanor and her tendency to keep her emotions under wraps added layers of complexity to their interactions. It wasn't that she was indifferent. Rather, her experiences in life had shaped her into someone who was cautious with her emotions, someone who perhaps feared the vulnerability that comes with opening up. Jess, on the other hand, found herself in a state of emotional turmoil. She was all too aware of her growing feelings for Mia, yet the ambiguity of Mia's responses left her in a limbo of hope and hesitation. She wanted to reach out, to breach the invisible walls Mia had built around herself, but she was also wary of pushing too hard, of disrupting the delicate balance of their relationship. Their meetings, often filled with conversations that danced around the edges of deeper emotions, became a mix of comfort and confusion for Jess. She treasured the moments they spent together, yet each encounter left her with more questions than answers about the nature of Mia's feelings. In this dance of emotions and unspoken words, their relationship continued to evolve, a complex interplay of connection and uncertainty. The legacy of their shared experience in the mountains lingered in the background, a silent reminder of where they had been and the journey they were still navigating together. After an evening at the movie theater, filled with shared laughter and engaging stories, Jess and Mia found themselves seeking a quiet retreat to end their night. They decided to spend the rest of their evening in a luxurious hotel room that boasted a relaxing jacuzzi. As they settled into the soothing warmth of the jacuzzi, the ambience of the room, with its soft lighting and serene quiet, lent itself to a more intimate atmosphere. In this peaceful setting, away from the rest of the world, they found themselves drawn closer together, both physically and emotionally. In the comfort of the jacuzzi, amidst the gentle bubbling of the water, they shared a kiss, a simple yet profound expression of the bond they had formed. It was a moment of mutual understanding and deep connection, a culmination of the emotions that had been growing between them since their harrowing experience in the mountains. They spent the night in each other's company, talking, laughing, and enjoying the rare sense of peace that came from being together. The morning light filtered softly through the curtains of the hotel room, casting a warm glow across the space. Jess stirred awake, the memories of the previous night lingering like a sweet melody. But as her eyes adjusted to the morning light, she realized the other side of the bed was empty. Puzzled, she sat up, scanning the room for any sign of Mia. That's when she noticed a small piece of paper resting on the bedside table. It was a note, written in Mia's unmistakable handwriting. With a growing sense of unease, Jess reached for it, her heart starting to race with a mix of anticipation and apprehension. The note was brief but poignant. Dear Jess, I had a good time with you. You were one of the best people I have met in my life, but I still need to explore the world and have more adventures to find the meaning of life. Bye. Jess read the note several times, each word sinking in, each line echoing in the silence of the room. A mix of emotions washed over her: surprise, sadness, and a deep sense of loss. She understood Mia's relentless quest for meaning, her desire to explore and experience the world, but the suddenness of her departure left Jess feeling adrift. Mia, the enigmatic, strong-willed soul who had shared such a profound journey with her, was gone, off to chase new horizons and adventures. Jess knew Mia's spirit was untamable, her thirst for life's experiences unquenchable, but it didn't lessen the sting of her sudden departure. Sitting there, with the note in her hand, Jess realized that their paths, so closely intertwined in survival and discovery, were now diverging. She felt a profound respect for Mia's journey, her relentless pursuit of meaning and truth, yet she couldn't help but feel a sense of loss for what might have been. As the morning light grew brighter, Jess reflected on the time they had spent together, from the harrowing ordeal in the mountains to the quiet moments of connection. Mia had left an indelible mark on her life, a reminder of strength, resilience, and the complexity of the human spirit. With a deep breath, Jess folded the note gently and placed it back on the table. She knew that life would go on, that her own journey was still unfolding, but for now, she allowed herself a moment to mourn the end of this chapter, to cherish the memories, and to wonder, with a hint of a smile, about the adventures Mia was off to discover. 3 years after their paths had diverged, Jess's life had settled into a new normal, one that was occasionally punctuated by memories of Mia and the time they had spent together. It was a typical, uneventful day when Jess's routine was suddenly interrupted by an unexpected email from Mia. The name alone was enough to send a ripple of surprise and old emotions through Jess. Opening the email, Jess's eyes quickly absorbed the words, each one laden with meaning and memories. Dear Jess, how many days have I been in your city? In these 3 years, not even 3 minutes passed when I did not think of you. All the time I thought about the night we had together. I wish I had the chance to see you again. Jess felt a complex wave of emotions wash over her. Mia's words were simple, yet they carried the weight of unspoken feelings and a deep sense of longing. The revelation that Mia had been in her city, and for some time, brought a mix of surprise and curiosity. The fact that Mia had been thinking about her continuously, even after all these years, evoked a blend of warmth and nostalgia. Upon receiving Mia's email, Jess didn't hesitate to reply. He was clear and firm in his response, yet conveyed his thoughts with a gentle respect. Mia, my dear, I hope you are well and that you have reached the things you wanted in your travels. We must say that I was very sad after you. It was very hard for me to forget your love. I hope you understand this. But unlike you, on that snowy night in the mountains, I reached my desire, which was to have courage. I had learned to face my fears. So after a while, I dared and gave myself a chance to fall in love again. Now I am married and I am facing all the problems. I love my wife and I will teach our 1-year-old daughter to face problems in life and be brave. For me now, it means my family's eloquence. I'm sorry I can't meet you. I hope you have reached the meaning of your life. Mia sat motionless for a few moments after reading the email. The words on the screen represented a closure, a final turn in the chapter of their shared story. The sense of finality was both sobering and clarifying. Mia grappled with the challenge of opening the third bottle of red wine, her task made more difficult by the fact that one of her hands was missing 4 fingers. Despite this, she was resolute in her effort to uncork the bottle and refill her glass, eager to savor another serving of the rich, enticing wine. The end. Elham Ghoreishi. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, subscribe, and drop us a message. Thank you.